Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're tackling something huge. It's this invisible wall, really, that's stopping our kids from getting ready for an AI-powered world. And the crazy part? The fix is way simpler and, believe it or not, cheaper than you could possibly imagine.
All right, let's get right into it. The UK's Department for Education, they are going all in on AI. They've got this big vision, right? A whole new generation of kids leaving school who are totally fluent in artificial intelligence, kids who are ready to build the future and really compete out there on the global stage.
But here's the catch. A digital skills educator, John Goodyear, he points out that when schools actually try to get these amazing AI tools into the hands of their students, they just hit a brick wall. He calls it a massive chasm, and it's so big it threatens to just stop this whole vision dead in its tracks before it even has a chance to get going.
And we really need to get this. This isn't just some, friendly suggestion from the government. No, this is fast becoming a full-on mandate.
AI is about to be woven right into the core computing curriculum. It's going to be a mandatory part of every kid's education. And what that means is schools just aren't going to have the option to ignore it or play the wait-and-see game. The clock is definitely ticking on this one.
So what's really fascinating here is that it's not a new story. We have absolutely been here before. This kind of resistance to new, super important technology, it follows a pattern in education that's, depressingly familiar.
I mean, just think back to the 80s, right? The very first IT suites are getting installed. And you had some teachers just waving it off, saying it was a fad that'd be gone in a few months. Fast forward a few decades, and the COVID lockdown suddenly exposed this huge gap. And it wasn't about having computers, it was about being ready for the cloud. And today, AI is presenting the exact same challenge all over again.
The pandemic was the ultimate stress test for the system. On one hand, you had private schools, many had already gotten on board with cloud platforms, and they switched to remote learning almost overnight. It was seamless. But on the other hand, a lot of state schools were just left scrambling. Now, the common excuse you heard was, we don't have the funding. But here's the kicker. The platforms that made it all possible were, and still are, 100% free. And what's even more telling is that as soon as the lockdown ended, many of those schools just dropped the free tools they'd been given. So you see, it was never about the money. It was about a deeper resistance to change.
Okay, so what is this giant chasm that's stopping schools from jumping on the AI bandwagon today? Is it a lack of computers? Slow internet? Some huge software bill? Nope. The answer is, it's way, way simpler than all that.
This is the absolute heart of the problem. It all boils down to a login. Seriously, that's it. See, modern AI isn't running on some dusty old server in the school basement. It's all in the cloud. And to use anything in the cloud, you need an identity. The AI tool has to know who you are, who the student is, to give them access safely and securely. If you don't have that individual login, the door's locked. End of story.
And this really shows you the two different worlds we're talking about. On one side, you've got schools stuck trying to juggle all these generic shared accounts, which is just a total nightmare for management and, frankly, a child protection risk. But then, on the other side, you have schools with a proper cloud identity system. Every single student gets their own unique, secure login. And that login acts like a master key, It unlocks seamless single sign-on to this whole universe of amazing educational tools.
So, if the problem is basically a missing bridge, the obvious next question is, okay, so how do we build it? But the amazing thing is, we don't have to. The bridge has already been built. This isn't some expensive, futuristic pipe dream. It's here, right now, today.
And let's be super clear here. We're not talking about buying a bunch of new servers or hiring a whole team of developers. No. The solution is elegant, it's simple, and it's already been built specifically for this purpose.
So what is this bridge? It's a cloud identity platform. And I guarantee you've heard of them. Things like Google Workspace for education or Microsoft Office 365. What they do is give every single student their very own secure login. That login then turns on something called single sign-on, and that's the magic ticket. It means a student can get into thousands of different apps, including all these powerful AI tools, with just one single secure click.
And the price tag for this foundational, totally future-proofing technology? A big fat zero. Zilch. Nada. It is completely free for schools. So the barrier isn't money. It's got to be something else, like a lack of interest, or maybe just not even knowing this exists. So this is what it actually looks like for a student. They go to some cool AI-powered website for a school project. They see that button that says, log in with Google or log in with Microsoft. They click it, and boom, they're in. That's it. It's secure, it's managed by the school, and it's so simple.
No more trying to remember a dozen different passwords. No more sharing dodgy generic accounts.
Okay, so this begs the question, right? If the solution is this easy and it's literally free, why are so many schools still stuck on the wrong side of this chasm? Well, the story of one educator who's right there on the front lines, it really puts this whole problem of, institutional inertia into a very sharp focus.
Let's go back to John Goodyear, the educator we mentioned at the very beginning. Now, he doesn't have a traditional teaching qualification. His background is actually in business IT. But every single week, he teaches computing to hundreds of primary school kids, and the results he gets are just incredible.
So people visit his school, and they're just floored. They're completely blown away by what his students are doing with AI. You have head teachers telling him to his face, "Wow, I would have hired you in a heartbeat." But here's the brutal irony of it all. He sent somewhere between 20 and 30 applications to their exact schools over the years. And the response? Crickets. Nothing. His real-world expertise is precisely what these schools need, but because he doesn't fit into that traditional little box, the system just doesn't see him.
And he's pretty blunt about it. He says if he were to lose his current job, he'd basically be unemployable in education. Think about that. It is such a chilling warning that the exact expertise schools need to get across this AI chasm is being ignored and could get pushed out of the system for good, all because of a resistance to change.
And really, that's the bottom line here. The tech we need to get our kids ready for an AI-driven world, it's not just available, it's free. The expertise to make it all happen, it's out there. That bridge to the future is built, it's solid, and it's just waiting. So the only real question left is a simple one. Who's going to choose to cross it, and who's going to choose to get left behind on the wrong side of the chasm?